Hello, this is Mrs. Trimble, and today I'm going to talk to you about informational books, which are books written and illustrated to present, organize, and interpret documentable factual materials. There are two major awards for nonfiction books, so if you're ever wanting to read the latest and greatest, I would just go ahead and look up the Orbis Pictus Award or the Robert F. Siebert Award. Both of them are great, and really, they will not steer you wrong. I've read a lot of them, and they're fantastic. They're award-winning for a reason. There are many different formats for nonfiction informational text. We're going to talk about all of these in this session. The first one is survey books. These are basically general overviews of a topic. They may not cover all of the information. The point is for you just to basically learn about a topic without becoming too overwhelmed. This book, Let Me Play, by Karen Blumenthal, is about the Title IX, which is the law that made it officially okay for girls to play organized sports. And it's actually a great example of what really can happen when enough people work together to incite political and social change. Photo essays are books where there's photos on nearly every page, and the photos visually represent and supplement or validate the text. So The Tarantula Scientist by Cy Montgomery is about Sam Marshall, and he's an arachnologist, from Hiram, Ohio, and he's doing research on the largest Goliath bird-eater tarantulas in French Guiana. It's really funny. The book has a lot of good humor in it and dispels a lot of the common myths about spiders. There's a lot of information located at the end of the book, including an update on Sam. Last time this book was updated or edited, he was at the University of Cincinnati. He tells how the book was researched, different websites that you can visit, and tips for tarantula pet owners. So that's good news. Concept books. These are great books for people learning the English language. It's basic information about a single topic. They're good for young readers as well. They're beautifully illustrated. Some of them have interactive items to them. This particular book has some really great collage illustrations, and it's also a Caldecott honor book. Social histories are very popular for middle grade students. They tell the impact on human history, usually include a lot of primary source documents, and help give perspectives on how people coped with specific challenges. In this particular book, An American Plague by Jim Murphy, which won the Siebert and Orbis Pictus Award, won both of them. This book is about how the political leaders fled the area, Philadelphia, basically leaving nobody in charge. They took off and went to their summer homes and left a few select brave heroes behind to basically care for the sick that had yellow fever. So really good book, gives you a different perspective on our history. Informational storybooks are picture books that share information in a story context. This book, An Extraordinary Life, The Story of a Monarch Butterfly, is actually an Orbis Pictus Award winner. It's a hypothetical journey of a monarch named Danis. The information is carried in a lively fashion by utilizing a storyline. And you'll know that if it's an informational storybook if there's a foreword and afterword, text notes, source notes, or acknowledgments. Activity books invite readers to do what they're reading about. So like cookbooks or craft books, they directly involve the reader. There's diagrams and drawings and lots of visual text organizers. This book, How to Talk to Your Dog by Jean Craighead George, is really funny, and the author describes the meaning of specific dog body language. So how do you know if your dog is happy, or how do you know if your dog is smiling at you? If you want to know, then check out this book. Trivia books, these are very popular. These give statistical data. There's a diverse range of subjects, short story narratives, so like the Guinness Book of World Records. Obviously, you're not going to be able to take an IR test or anything like that on these books because there's just way too much information and it's way too varied. But interesting books, and I know a lot of students like to read them, so we have several of these in the library, so come on in and check them out. Series, informational series. These are basically defined by the publisher rather than the author. So they're based on a perceived need. They contain current information. There'll be various authors. And they cover topics that may not otherwise be written about. There's some really, really great books on this slide here. The Mystery of the Lascaux Cave there on the bottom left-hand corner. That was an amazing book. It was from the Frozen in Time series, and it starts out with a true story of teenagers accidentally discovering the Lascaux Cave in France in 1940. And the book provides detailed descriptions and photos of the artwork inside the cave, as well as the evolution and history of the people responsible for the magnificent paintings over 17,000 years ago. It's incredible. The text is really easy for younger readers to understand, and the timelines and photographs, they help reinforce the learning, which is great. The book includes glossary and suggested books, those kind of verbal text organizers, an index, bibliography. The You Wouldn't Want to Be series, we have a lot of those in the library. I would highly recommend those. Great way to learn history in a kind of a animated kind of way. They're animated books. They're like cartoons, I guess. I love Seymour Simon. The book on the bottom right hand corner, The Wolves. His books are just amazing. This book begins with an amazing two-page photograph of a wolf lying in the snow, and then every two-page spread after that includes like one full-page photograph. So the photos are amazing, and they encourage the reader to learn more about this fascinating animal. And the large text is easy to read and understand, and gives the reader a really good sense of the wolf's habits and characteristics and environment. So. Reference books are other informational books like atlases and dictionaries and encyclopedias. Magazines, we have lots of these in the library. They're highly visual and current. They're affordable. Some are content specific, and they usually have interactive websites that supplement the print version. Biographies. Now, biographies, there are a lot of different types of biographies. They're basically a well-rounded portrait of a person. So we're going to just briefly go over the biography formats, which are complete biographies, picture book biographies, biography series, books about celebrities, and collective biographies. So complete biographies are books that are written about people who are really worth reading about, who made a significant contribution to society and to history, but are often overlooked in history books. So this book, The Voice That Challenged a Nation, it is about Marian Anderson. It's an Orbis Pictus and Sieber honor book. So she was actually a contralto singer whose career helped break the race barriers in America during the Civil Rights Movement. She grew up in America during the early 1900s, and her blossoming career and eventual friendship with Eleanor Roosevelt helped her break the race barrier in American arts when she gave a free concert to over 75,000 listeners on the steps of the Lincoln Memorial, which is amazing. There are black and white photographs throughout this book, newspaper articles, concert programs on over half the pages. The book includes some great chapter notes and a bibliography and a selected discography, which is really cool, and acknowledgments and an index, which is you'll see in most nonfiction books, but it was a really great story. Picture book biographies are the illustrations basically add visual interest. So in this particular book, this is a 2009 Siebert Honor winner. Alice was Teddy Roosevelt's first child, and she was by far the wildest. She had this crazy zest for life that was uncontrollable. She was considered a celebrity at the time. The text in this picture book is fun. The words are in bold print for emphasis, and there's two-page illustrations on many of the pages, and the illustrations are really dark and rich and really comical and fun to look at. The text is easy to read, and it gives the reader a small look into the life of the Roosevelt family. The end papers feature an author's note with more detailed information about Alice, so I highly recommend you check that out. And then we have biography series, which basically have a standard appearance and context, which, are like these, I call them like the bobblehead books, the Who Was Walt Disney, Who Was Babe Ruth. There are lots and lots of these written, but they're very good information. Celebrity biographies, these are high interest among students. They're more for pleasure reading. They're not going to give you the most in-depth information um, about these particular artists and, you know, sports celebrities and things. But they're good to read, and hey, they're fun. Collective biographies they're basically several short biographies in one book, and there's usually some common thread. Like this book I love by John McCain. It's called Character's Destiny, and they're basically just inspiring, amazing stories that really everybody should know. Everybody should know about these people that are listed in this book because they did impact our history in significant ways. Autobiographies and memoirs are written by the subject, and there's not a lot written for children. Um, because a lot of students like to read about people that are in their lives right now, and those people aren't really writing autobiographies because they're still living their lives. They're still like have a lot left to live. Like if you wanted to read a book on Taylor Swift, she might write an autobiography, but she's probably going to write another one or would write another one like 20 years from now when she's experienced more in life. So um, there are other nonfiction books where are books, I guess, that are cataloged as nonfiction, meaning that they have a number on their spine label. Those are fairy tales and folk tales, graphic novels, and poetry. But those are in a whole league of their own, and there will be more detailed information on those to follow. So everything that I took for this presentation I found in Children's Literature in Action, which is a great book for anybody who wants to learn more about children's literature. And that is it. Thank you for joining me, and have a great day.